So, tell me something terrible. You got your slippers on and now you're taking your first hoodie off?
Yeah, I put my slippers on and got warm.
They'll do that. Those bunnies are toasty. How do people record podcasts with headphones on the entire time? Like, I don't
know. They probably have some real professional setting where, like, you don't have to listen to yourself.
Maybe. But then what's the point? Also,
I don't know.
I don't know if we're going to keep all this. I've established, we're keeping all this. As much of an audio engineer as we have, need to issue a formal apology about last episode.
Okay. Yes.
It was poorly recorded, mainly because I moved my PC like 2 inches, and it was touching my mic stand cord. So while the fan was running on the PC, it was vibrating my mic stand. So there was like this little buzz, and I tried to clean it out as much as I could, but it didn't work. So last episode,
we'd also reallocated the bird cage, so I feel like that closeness made it a little tinny.
Yeah, we picked her up a lot better, yes, but the constant vibration on a metal mic stand made it so that it sounded like we were recording a freeway. So,
sweet.
Yeah, no. Last episode was our second worst audio ever. So if that was your first episode and you came back for this one, you're
congratulations.
A trooper. Yes. But we have...
Thanks for giving us a chance.
Right. The heat of the summer in our old unair-conditioned house is over. So we are back in the original podcast recording studio, which is covered in carpet and plants.
And fabric.
Yes, and is much more isolated, and there's not furnaces right below us or birds right next to us. There's just a sleepy dog, the way we all started this. Mm-hmm. I say we all. Except,
bonus, the little dick energy down the road is gone.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not, I won't say never,
but we will. With the windows open.
Yes, maybe. Less frequently have very large, loud, obnoxious, blown out motors on
maybe
shitty trucks drive by.
Just for old time's sake, I'll have a bottle of wine and I'll get super sleepy, like when we used to record up here all the time. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to, because I
think I'm funny.
When given the opportunity of like, hey, if I'm like, it's a Saturday night and I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to usually go like wine, hard liquor, seltzer/beer in that order. But for this, I almost always go like seltzer just because it's more... it's easier to drink like pregame for like a half hour and then kind of like keep that buzz without getting sleepy, which is what wine does to me. So if you listen to like those first 5, 6, whatever episodes, I'm sleepy. And we were recording 2 in one night. Yeah, I hit the table. Don't mean mug me. But yeah, so I might do that next week just for old time's sake.
Okay, bringing it back.
Also,
please don't. Next week's going to be a long one.
Is next week Halloween? No, 2 weeks to Halloween.
Oh, fuck.
But we can't record next Saturday night.
Oh, shit. Did I fuck up my schedule?
I don't know what you do with your life. I need to be conscious of my legs. I keep hitting things. Anyway.
I don't think I messed up my schedule.
I don't have the boom mic arm tonight. So
I do.
I'm going to have to be conscious of where I'm at.
Yep.
Anyway, you guys don't care because I don't care and I'm here. So anyway, you want to introduce who you are?
Oh, hi. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are. Episode 50-something.
9?
Sounds right.
Sure.
Yeah, we're sneaking up on 60.
Yeah, we are.
What are we doing for episode 69? Got big plans?
I do.
Do you?
Yes.
69 themed?
No, she a deep dive. 6D. We're just doing 60.
I know, but do you have... Anyway.
No.
We'll discuss that off the...
It's Halloween themed. Oh, you want me to have a 69 themed? Oh. I should do a Lorena Bobbitt for episode 69.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Sure. With your...
Lorena Bobbitt.
Got it.
Everybody might know that topic.
I know the name. I don't know any deets.
Oh, good. She's a classic.
She's a classic. Speaking of which, this is usually the time of the month where I'm like, oh, I should really write that bonus pod. But I got 2 weeks. I'll be all right. We just have a bunch of people coming over next weekend, then Halloween's the next weekend.
And don't add us. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but it's a bunch of his coworkers who touch all of the same diseases that he touches, so it's fine.
We all spend all day, every day together anyway. Anywho,
and it's a small business, so
don't add us.
Yeah,
we get
don't come at us.
We get a lot of hate mail.
We get none
as a podcast. With if you add up all of our social medias, we have like 700 followers, most of which has a ton of overlap.
Why you got to degrade us?
I'm not degrading.
People
us.
don't need to know that we're that lame.
No. I mean, Facebook's like 400 plus. Twitter's sneaking up on 200 and 9 subscribers on YouTube.
Look at us go.
In our defense, in their defense, our YouTube content has slacked.
Look, we've been busy.
No, I think it's like...
I'm working 6 days this week.
Well, okay. Yes, we've gone down to 1 episode a week. But also, there's that whole like...
It fucks with our numbers.
It's not even... No. It's not even like risk reward. I wouldn't even put it that. It's just like... I can put like a shit ton of time into editing a video podcast and then have 3 people watch it and be like, oh, that seems like a waste. Mm-hmm. Or we can just do this, not have to be conscious of a camera being on it, just be natural. And then however many people can listen to it, and I'll sleep just as fine. So if the demand is out there for visual podcasts, sure. Did you just touch your eye with habanero cheese?
I did.
You're just on fire, literally, over there.
Yeah. Are
you going to be okay?
I'll be fine.
We can pour some almond milk in it. I don't know what else you can do for you.
We're good. I just had to blink it out a few times.
Blink it out? Is that the Taylor Swift song? Don't laugh at that. That's a really bad joke to start off the day with.
It's great.
Okay,
You ready to get started?
It's
then?
Still October.
Okay.
Yeah, we've rambled
a lot.
Only doing 1 podcast a week? I feel like we have a lot to catch up on, but we are very not.
I also don't think people are that invested in our lives.
No, that's definitely true. But I feel like we're like have all these announcements, but we don't.
Mostly their apologies.
All we can do is, thanks for being here and plug that Patreon. That's all we got.
Plug all the Patreons.
Ignore the last 7 minutes. Those 3 seconds. That's all we're doing here.
We're actually going to start putting a tag in there for people that want to skip forward instead of like having to rely on people being like, skip forward. Just do it.
No. Make the skippers do that. Don't do it for them.
Okay.
Let the skippers unite. They can do that themselves. Let one of them pledge his tribute and then post that data and let the rest of them figure it out on their own.
All right. So.
This is this another cursed object?
Yes. Well, okay. I mean, I suppose it's definitely an object. Whether it's cursed or not, I think it's just up for opinion.
It's not a song?
No, it's not a song.
Okay.
So I thought that we would go with a stereotypical spooky Halloween object.
Okay.
Would you like to take a guess?
Cleaver.
The Ouija board.
Oh, the dollop's already ruined the Ouija board for me.
It's a good one. If you really need like the dark, I'll skim over the history, but if you need like the deep dive in the history, for sure there's a dollop episode on it.
Well, they're pretty much like, it's Monopoly. Like, you can be freaked out as all you want. It's just fucking Monopoly.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's...
So...
Anyway, I, truth be told, have never even... I don't even know if I've seen a Ouija board in person.
I fucking refuse to touch one. Okay. I won't do it. I'm a believer that there's something going on.
Okay. But...
It has nothing to do with the Ouija board itself and everything to do with the fact that people have been trying to communicate with spirits for literally centuries.
So you will take a pendulum into a known haunted location, but you won't touch a Ouija board?
No, because you can get a lot... Pendulums are yes and no, period. There's nothing else added to it.
We did EVPs and all sorts of shit. We were actively seeking out communication.
Right. On an EVP, I suppose. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just the Ouija board makes communication a lot faster and more efficient.
And more impressionable by humans?
We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. I go over that.
Do
you know the effect that causes it?
No, but I'm going to tell you now. We could Ouija board all you want because it would just stay still. I wouldn't move it. I would not be led to move. It wouldn't move. It would just stay in the...
Just wait.
2 facts. I've never Ouija'd and I've never had a wedgie. Both true.
How did you get through school being the tiny short-ass nerd you are without getting a wedgie?
If you haven't seen our YouTube video, one of my best friends was Big J.
Oh, that's true.
Was
He's
a
like
monster of a human. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had huge friends. All my friends were huge, pretty much.
I feel like you did that on purpose.
And I was the fat, funny diabetic kid. No, I wasn't like, nobody wanted to give, like...
No one's going to be like, oh, you gave the diabetic a wedgie? Good for you.
No, I think chicks
like
and thongs probably get more wedgies than dudes ever get.
Yes.
Like, I've never even seen anyone get a wedgie that wasn't like a chick's underwear hanging out and you pull on it. Like...
Yeah, that's why I've gotten wedgies.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like, oh, wedgie.
Yeah, whale tail. Grab it.
Yeah. No, the biggest thing that I got was what we used to do in school was the shark fin. So you would walk up to anybody that had a ponytail and just pull like right next to the ponytail and pull up the middle section of their hair after they got that nice, tight, slicked back, gel
90s
back.
ponytail, yeah.
Oh, it was the worst.
That Herbal Essence ponytail.
Oh, no. Herbal Essence was for rich people. We used VO5.
I think they were both $1, but I'm glad.
No, they were not. The VO5 was 95 cents, and Herbal Essence was like $1.59.
Oh my goodness! At Kmart.
At Kmart.
Blue light special.
Yes, sir.
I didn't go to Jackson to buy shampoo, but that's...
We did once a month. It was a big deal.
Big deal.
Yep.
Your family had a lot of hair. Anyway.
We did. My dad had a mullet.
And y'all had hair to your butts.
Yes, we did.
So we have the pictures to prove it.
We have
fucking Addams family.
Oh, yes. I got called Cousin It all the time.
Yeah. Anyway. So go on about your wedgie board.
Yep. So with the wedgie board, the first advertisements for a talking board showed up in February.
On this podcast, it's pronounced advertisement.
The first advertisement for a talking...
Can you get it?
Nope. For a talking board showed up in February of 1891. So this was right in the thick of America's obsession with spiritualism. So starting in Europe in the mid-1800s, spiritualism made its way across the pond.
And when was the Satanic Panic?
The 1980s.
Okay. Just for some juxtaposition there of the distance we traveled.
Not far, is what you're saying. We took a half step to the left.
It's like, it's either 180 or it's like 1 degree.
100%.
Depending on how you want to look at it.
So the Fox sisters, who was a famous pair of sisters who would hold public seances, and they would claim to be spiritualists communing with the dead via table raps. So like 1 for A, 2 for B.
Yep.
It's in the dollop.
Yep.
You know that bit?
I do.
Yep.
They were con artists.
Yes, because they would tap their toes and they would thump their like toe knuckles. So it was
like weird raptors.
Yes. Raptors. Anyway, they claim to be spiritualists communicating with the dead via the table raps. And this really ramped up the craze starting in about 1848. So at the time, it was totally cool with the Christians communing with spirits of past loved ones. They were like, that's fine. It jibes with all the... My heathen's going to come out. It jibes with all the propaganda they were pushing in that time. So it was totally acceptable to be at a seance Saturday night and then go to church Sunday morning. So even Mary Todd Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's wife, held a seance to speak to her 11-year-old son who had died of a fever in 1862 in the White House.
Huh. So how haunted do you think the White House is?
Severely. Are you kidding me? It was built on the back of slaves, and there's weird basements with rooms that nobody knows really exist or, like, officially exist.
That would be one of the fun parts of the apocalypse, is just getting free reign of government buildings. No? I'm just saying.
You know when they say you've gone so far left, you turn to the right? It's too soon. We don't talk about free range of government buildings.
Well, not like, okay, I was saying apocalyptic, not just because you feel like it.
You got mad because you were told to get medicine and wear a mask.
Yeah. No. I mean, like in an alternative universe where you can just run free and look through everything and you're the only person alive. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like January 6th
I Am Legend
meets I Am Legend. Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say, sir, that's too soon for that statement in light of recent events. In case you guys don't know, America's going through some shit.
It's been a minute. I've processed it. I'm fine.
I'm glad you have.
Move on.
So anyway, so a lot of the spiritualists needed a quicker way to commune with the dead. So now we have Charles Kennard. So the Associated Press had reported on a talking board that was rising in popularity amongst the spiritualists in Ohio. And Charles got wind of this device, stole the idea, and created his version of the talking board with yes and no in the corners, goodbye, and then an arcing alphabet and letters, and then the iconic I in the middle. And it was paired with a teardrop-shaped planchette that could be used to point to the different letters and numbers to communicate with the spirits. So they're like, this table knocking bullshit is for the birds. So they're trying to be efficient about it. Or so he says.
It's just text messaging.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
T9 text messaging, though.
The letters aren't working, the smoke signals. Just text me, bro.
Yep. So Charles rounded up a group of 4 investors, and they created the Kennard Novelty Company. And that company had developed the board with the help of one of the partners, Elijah Bond, who was a patent lawyer, and his sister, Helen, described as a, quote, strong medium.
Wait, what was his last name? Bond?
Bond.
Oh.
Yep.
I was really hoping it was Bomb.
No, Bond.
The H-bomb over here, Helen.
So they, with the help of Elijah and his sister Helen, they named the board. So Charles, Elijah, and Helen are said to have asked the board what its name was, and it responded with Ouija, the O-U-I-G-A. Never mind the fact that Helen had a locket on that was containing a picture of a woman with the name Ouija inscribed on it.
Okay, was it a name?
Yeah. She had a locket with a woman inside of it, and above it, it was inscribed with the name Ouija.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, being like, oh, that's really cool. It named itself. But, really, there was an influence. Yeah. So, off the group went to the patents office to procure the rights to their mysterious invention. But the patent officer wanted to make sure that this device actually worked before granting them the patent. Although the group didn't know the officer's name, the board was able to tell the officer his very own name when he asked the board to prove that it worked. So a white-faced, yes. So a white-faced, rightfully freaked out patent officer granted Charles Kennard and the Kennard Novelty Company the patent to the Ouija board, along with the famous claim that it was able to answer questions, quote, about the past, present, and future with marvelous accuracy. That it was, quote, interesting and mysterious. That was dubbed by the New York Times. And that the board was, quote, proven at patent office before it was allowed. But the board being able to tell the patent officer's own name could have nothing to do with the fact that one of the inventors was a patent lawyer.
Who probably already knew this guy's name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The company grew from there, with its peak sales over 2 million boards, selling out Monopoly in 1967.
Outselling Monopoly?
Yeah.
You said
selling out. So I even typed selling out. My Lord. I was
Monopoly's
sober when I wrote
such a
this.
sellout.
It really is. Remember how that memory popped up on your...
Today?
Yes.
Yeah, that 11 years ago today we played Monopoly.
And then I learned quickly the only way I can survive this marriage is to never play Monopoly with you.
Or just accept defeat. Anyway.
Not allowed.
What year did they sell 2 million boards?
1967.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just grown exponentially.
Ended up being a lot of Ouijas at Woodstock.
Probably.
That and Jenga.
Yeah, just... Why Jenga?
I don't know.
Just for shits and gigs?
It just seems fitting.
Sure. So the Ouija board spent most of its life under the opinion that it was just a silly, family, fun kind of
Novelty.
game. Yes. So everyone from every level of society, background, and beliefs bought and played the game, convinced that they were reaching families and friends that had passed on from this world. So people still went, oh, Lord. That knife almost fell off the table.
Just a random knife teetering in the background. Just a normal thing around our house.
So, people went a little crazy with the Ouija board and the spirits. For the most part, it was just innocent interactions spurred on by people in the afterlife. But a couple women claimed to have helped write stories from the already dead. One said that she was in contact with a 17th century English woman that helped dictate her book. And then another claims that she was in communication with Mark Twain and that he was using her to write a story after his death. That one actually went on to be win Pulitzer Prizes and being like the New York's bestsellers list and everything.
That book or a different book by her?
No, the book that she says Mark Twain told her to write through the Ouija board.
That seems painstaking. Mm-hmm. My thing is, why can't the planchette move on its own? Why do I gotta touch it?
We'll get there.
No.
Just be patient.
I'm forever the skeptic.
I can tell. Also, you interrupted my very dumb, already written out joke.
I love a scripted joke. Please don't let me slow you down. Hit me with it. Hit me. No, I've prepared a good hearty laugh.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. It's pertaining to the previous subject of the writers. They were literally ghost writers.
Ha.
I hate you so much.
Woo. Was that a good laugh?
It's so good.
Thank you. I choreographed it in my mind.
Remind me to file for divorce in the morning.
Okay. Is it a holiday tomorrow? I'm just kidding.
So there were some people that were inspired to change their wills to leave money to ghosts.
To leave money to ghosts.
Yes, already dead people. Yeah, there was like somebody who left who wanted to try to leave like $120,000 or something like that to like some dead guy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There's probably a lot of consumable goods you need to purchase in the afterlife.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you go through a lot of like clothes and bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some people claimed that they could help solve crimes via the Ouija board, which we still get a lot of like even today, where people are like, "Well, fuck it, let's try a psychic and see what happens."
Yeah. That's the first solution, not the last line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psychics are the first.
Yes,
sure.
Yeah. Haven't you seen, what was that, Monk? Was he a psychic? He was just like, do you remember Monk?
Yeah, I think he was just a really smart guy who had people fooled. I only watched a few episodes.
I don't know if he had him. Anyway, John was a big fan. He doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So then in 1973, The Exorcist debuted. So the plot centered around a 12-year-old girl possessed by a daemon that she accidentally summoned from opening a portal to hell via the Ouija board. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Ouija boards became a thing of the devil. So it was used to bring forth the spawns of Satan and started appearing in horror films and was denounced by religious groups, citing scripture as proof that it was sinful to communicate with the dead. And then in 2011, in New Mexico, the board was burned along with Harry Potter books and Snow White.
Snow White?
Yep.
Why?
I have no context for that. Shallow dives over here.
Snow White is actually kind of biblical, though. Like the white as snow thing, like the lamb, like white as snow. That's a very super biblical, like, wording. I don't know beyond that where they went with it. But like the lamb being as white as snow, like pure
Sure.
snow. Anyway, that's as far as I can go on that.
It's probably because it's an analogy that's been used for centuries and men wrote the Bible.
The Ouija board was in Paranormal Activity.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, paranormal activity was mentioned in my research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a lot of movies.
Yep.
This was kind of the start of it. Like, The Exorcist was like the first one to be like...
I feel like we also, because the way I grew up, in which I didn't watch horror movies growing up, like I didn't. So I didn't watch horror movies until like 2005. So literally any horror movie before then, I've never seen. I have only seen bits of the original Exorcist. So every movie,
but Exorcist of Emily Rose?
Yeah, we own that. Good. But no, so like after that, yeah, I've seen from like 2005 2010, I saw like all of them. And then I kind of fell off the bandwagon because, we had a kid and shit. But from like 2005...
I remember how she had night terrors after we decided we were going to start...
28 Days a Night or whatever the fuck?
Yeah. Nope.
This night.
It was 28 days later.
Or 20 days later, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so when people talk about like all the classic horror movies, I've seen none of them. Oh. I'm not ashamed to say I've seen none of them. I just haven't.
Have you seen The Rite? Did we watch that together?
Yeah, because that was in that 2005, 2010 sweet spot.
That's a good one.
That 2005, 2010, I watched like all of them. Mm-hmm. And the very first horror movie I ever saw was 13 Ghosts.
Yes.
And that was like...
The very first one I saw...
funny / scary.
Yeah.
That one like had like a kind of like a Ghostbustery vibe to it.
Yes.
And I've seen the original Ghostbusters, which I wouldn't consider that a horror movie.
I have never seen the original Ghostbusters.
Okay. It's it's like it's good, and it's like one of those movies you have to see. But I'm not like, hey, we should watch it tonight. But there's like all those,
like Robert the Doll we were supposed to watch 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we still haven't done that. We're supposed to have a watch party with that on our whatever Discord.
Something, yeah, we'll do it.
We have a podcast Discord. There's like 3 people in it. I don't use it.
Hashtag shamelessly plug.
Well, no. It's part of the Patreon thing, and I don't like. We could use it, but we don't because
we don't have enough.
Well, no,
guys,
and that's
we
like
don't have enough.
That's like a PC people thing, and
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of PC. Anyway, neither here nor there. But so like every time people bring up like the Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, all that, I'm like
Children of the Corn.
I'm
Please
like,
tell me, have you seen Children of the Corn?
No, it's from pre-2005. I've not seen it. I haven't seen any of those.
It's one of my favorite horror movies.
It's going to be really
anything
easy.
inspired by Stephen King.
It's going to be really easy. If you and I haven't watched together, I probably haven't seen it because I just didn't. And I like scary movies, but I grew up like the scariest movie I ever saw was Black Beauty.
That was sad.
No, I know, but that's a joke.
Yeah,
but like
to
we
be
didn't
fair,
we didn't own we owned Casper. That's like this. That was like our Halloween movie. That's it. Like, yeah. But we've watched scary movies together. I like scary movies. I just didn't watch them growing up. So when everyone's like,
I think I'm better now that Lily's older. When she was born, I was like, what happens if this is real?
well, and people are like,
oh, I remember watching Poltergeist when I was like 13 years old.
When people are like, have you seen the new Halloween movie? I was like, I haven't seen any of the Halloween movies. What do you mean?
Oh my God,
have I seen the new Halloween movie? I wouldn't even know what's going on.
There's so many Halloween movies, it doesn't matter. You could just jump into
You mean
the
with
middle.
the yogurt lady? Sorry. That's where I know Jamie Lee Curtis from. Anyway, will you keep going with your story?
Yes.
This got sidetracked. I knew eventually during this month this topic was going to come up of my like ignorance towards Halloween movies, and it's not for a lack of trying; it's a lack of availability. I don't even have. What the fuck was I going to do? Netflix them? I didn't even know Netflix. Like,
no.
Yeah. And you can't.
Oh, and even if you did, your parents would probably be like, your parents would finally have a talk with you to be like, sir, we need to talk about your soul.
But like, I would rent movies from the library. They didn't have those movies at the freaking library.
Not.
That's every movie I saw growing up was one we rented from the library for free.
Oh. Oh my gosh. I have to you haven't. We have to sit down and watch my all-time favorite childhood movies. Have you seen Superstar?
I get references from it. I've seen the Saturday Night Live stuff, but I've never seen the movie.
So we have to watch Superstar.
Okay.
And we have to watch Jawbreaker.
You've made me watch like the first 20 minutes of Jawbreaker.
Oh my God, we own Jawbreaker.
Yeah.
That's what we're watching tonight.
No, we're not.
That's what we're watching this weekend.
10:15 and I have to work tomorrow.
Okay.
We
will watch it.
You can turn on a movie tonight and you can listen to me snore through it.
That sounds great.
We'll probably watch the first 20 minutes of it again. Anyway, can you go with your story or we're not going to get to anything tonight?
Nope. So, so they burned the Ouija board and Harry Potter and Snow White for some reason.
And that's what sidetracked us.
Yep. And then,
Thank you.
So, Catholic.com says the Ouija board.
Catholic.com. I feel like that should be .org.
Okay, look, it was quoted in the Psychology Today article I was reading.
Okay.
So Catholic.com says that the Ouija board is, quote, far from harmless. And now they are just spooky tools from the devil himself. So they went from being like something where you could casually do whenever you want with your friends and nobody blinked an eye at it to like you're opening the pits of hell and now you're going to be possessed.
Yes.
But it took a couple hundred years to get there.
Oh, yeah, that builds up.
Yeah.
I had to get some street cred, that Ouija board.
Yeah, they
had
weren't.
to possess a few people.
Yeah. Yes.
For the Pope to be like,
this is a problem.
I don't know if I'm down with the Ouijas.
So, people wound up going off the GD deep end. There was there are modern day stories of people being affected by the Ouija board. There was a huge rash of mass hysteria spreading through an all-girls schools and Catholic schools in Mexico between 2006 and 2007. One girl wound up getting kicked out of her school after fainting and seizures, rapid heart rates, and students were unable to walk, and there were claims of spiritual possession that ran through the school like wildfire.
She got stung by a bee.
Nope, she had a Ouija board.
She got stung by a bee.
No, because Okay.
I'm joking.
There were 4,000 students at her school, and there were 512 cases of mass hysteria linked back to this one single use of the Ouija board. Because mass hysteria is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just,
but all of these students, there were 512 students that claimed that they would have seizures, they would faint, they would have rapid pulse, they were having physiological reactions.
it's called anxiety.
It's called mass hysteria.
Okay.
But yes, also anxiety.
Social anxiety. Yeah.
Yes.
Socially induced anxiety.
Yes. When you have something that's up on a pedestal about how it causes demonic possession.
If it's in a Catholic church, they've never told any of them about mental health disorders.
Or anything, ever, actually. You just keep your fucking mouth shut and don't say anything. It's fine.
Hail Mary.
We know a lot of recovery. By the way, self-named.
Titled?
Yes, self-titled recovering Catholics. We know
cataholics.
Yeah, we know a lot of them. Yeah. So,
hey.
Yes.
Can I get a drink?
If you want to.
Okay. All right.
You got your drink?
I do. Mine's open. Are you going to ASMR yours?
Yep, I'm going to ASMR mine. Ready?
What does ASMR stand for?
Audio something or
sensory...
another. Fuck if I know. Doesn't matter. The whole world's ending. It doesn't matter what ASMR stands for.
This is true. Also, Busy tweeted us back that they didn't have any sponsorships for Podunky podcasts like our own. So I appreciated that. We still buy them. I'd rather them send them to us for free.
That will never happen. They're still delicious. Where did I stop off at? Mass hysteria.
Yep.
Okay. Now people tell stories.
Catholic.com.
Yes. So now people tell stories about dark spirits and demons coming through the boards all the time. Mm-hmm. Reader's Digest collected stories one year from readers. The writers in claimed to be hexed by the board.
Ghostwriters, perhaps. No?
I hate you so much. It wasn't even a funny callback. I don't know why I married you.
Those are the best kind sometimes. Those asshole callbacks.
This guy's a dick. So anyway, they collected a story from readers, and they included an amalgamation of people that felt like they were being hexed by the board when it was moving in a strange X and circle movements, computers turning on and off even when they were unplugged, the planchette moving around fully by itself, inviting spirits through the that still haunt houses to this day. There's weird noises and knocking going on either during their session or later, getting grabbed by something in their sleep. Multiple people seeing full-blown apparitions, either old-timey ghosts or dead family members. One person claimed that a candle was thrown at her from an unseen force. Another had his favorite doll's head decapitated while he was playing with his cousins.
His favorite doll decapitated?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't force gender roles.
I'm just saying it's the 60s. Gender roles are a
little... No, this is not the 60s. This is all the way up. Some of these cases were happening
recently?
Yes.
Okay. No, That's fine. I just thought you were talking about the 60s, and I was like,
No, this is overtime.
Overtime?
Overtime. So, overtime with the
regulation
Ouija board.
has ended.
Yes.
That's a sports reference.
So,
for all you keeping score at home.
There was one person who was dumb enough to play the Ouija board while they were in college, and they were living in an ex-morgue.
Is it called Play the Ouija board?
Sure, why not? To use the Ouija boards.
Yeah, it's a CD.
Yeah. To play
hey man, can you play the Ouija board?
It's that dark punk band from the 1990s.
There's probably a band called Ouija Board.
Oh, if not, there needs to be.
It's probably trademarked.
Oh, yes.
Although I'm surprised Ouija was a name.
A human is probably French.
Ouija.
So, this one group of people decided they were going to play it while they were in college, even though their dorms were in an ex-morgue.
Oh.
Yeah, because they just don't sleep.
The rooms are really, really small. It's a terrible joke.
There's a weird drain in the middle of all of them.
Right? Yeah, you got to roll yourself in and shut the door behind you.
Oh, no.
Boy, it's chilly in here, guys.
It's feet first.
I only have this blanket over my lower half. This cord on my toe. I don't know what that's all about. It's how you get in the building. You got to lift
have a tag on your toe.
You have to lift your toe up and scan it out the door on your way in. Lay on your bed and roll yourself in. Ka-chunk. You just roll out in the morning. You're pale and freezing cold.
Good night.
You have
Don't
dots.
freeze to death.
You have dots drawn down your chest where they're going to cut you open. Anyway,
just unknown scratches in parts of your body too. Where you're like, I wonder where this came from.
Yeah. Anyway, so we digress.
All of this is just innocent ghost stories. Mm-hmm. So the Ouija board has also been to blame in tons of murders. Murder who? So, one case in 1921, a woman in Chicago was sent to a psychiatric hospital in a state of mania after murdering her mother and leaving her in the house for 15 days before burying the body in the backyard. In the 1930s...
Burying him in the backyard. Such an amateur move.
It really is.
Right.
So in the 1930s, two women in Buffalo, New York murdered another woman. They were inspired by a message from the Ouija board.
This is where the buffalo wing comes from.
No.
Okay.
So luckily, there are only a handful, just a few. But I went down a rabbit hole of more random modern day Ouija board inspired murders.
How many murders has Monopoly led to? This is what I...
Probably a lot more than the Ouija board.
Yes, at least divorces.
In my experience.
As you said.
Oh, yeah. Families breaking up. Siblings killing siblings.
Just a little domestic violence as you pass go. Yes.
Do not do not collect $200. Do not hit your wife.
Yeah. Do not flip the board.
So the modern day Ouija inspired murders, there seems to be a little higher number of.
Oh, good.
So I found one. We're going to take a sharp turn to the left, shall we?
Sure.
Yep. So a small town in Oklahoma with a population of about 1,400, in the dead of winter of 2001, there was a woman. Her name was Carol Sue Elvaker. She had no history of mental illness, odd behavior, drug use, or abusive behavior. Until...
September 11th broke a lot of people, though.
This is February.
Oh, of 2001? Mm-hmm. Oh, they said the winter, so I was like, oh, it's
winter.
After that. Okay, it's before that.
It's before that, yeah.
Good context.
I mean, to be fair, yes, that is a true statement, but this was before that.
Okay, good. I mean, not good, but good to know.
So one day, while playing with a Ouija board with her adult daughter named Tammy Sue, and her
Tammy
and Carol Sue, and her two granddaughters, aged 10 and 15. Her son-in-law was asleep in the other room. His name is Brian. So Carol claims that she received a message from God from the Ouija board.
Oh, I didn't know God was direct line to the Ouija board.
I thought it was just the devil.
Yeah.
So apparently... I
thought it was just demons and such.
Yeah, nope. God is also linked.
Shining through. Cool.
Yeah, he had to jump on the bandwagon. He's like, Satan's getting this message through. I need to do a little shadow work too.
Yeah, I need to move that weird triangle thing.
So.
What do you call that?
Planchette.
Planchette.
Yep.
What a pretty name.
It really is.
Next time you get a succulent, I'm going to name it Planchette.
Yes. Please. How about the one that I killed from your mother?
No, that one's already dead. Let's find a new one to call Planchette.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out. So Carol got the message from God that her son-in-law was evil and that he needed to die. So Carol went into his room and proceeded to stab him, but only once.
With the planchette?
Nope, a knife.
That could have got real twisted.
It could have been. No, it was an actual knife.
Okay.
Just once in his chest. Soon after, she attempted to stab her 10-year-old granddaughter, insisting that Brian's evil had left him and went into this child.
Huh.
Yep.
Maybe she needed to take a look inward.
Maybe.
At her evil.
Yep. So, as Brian laid there, bleeding out and begging his wife Tammy to help him, Tammy was helping her mother hide the knife and then piling herself and her two daughters into Carol's car, leaving Brian to bleed out and die.
Okay.
All from the Ouija board.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Carol proceeded to take her surviving family on a wild ride down Interstate 44 in Oklahoma, headed toward Tulsa.
This is '01. I hope it's a Dodge Neon, like purple.
I could not find out what kind of car
like
it is.
A gross Dodge Neon from '01.
We had a purple Cavalier when I was growing up. So
exactly.
It's about,
It's like the off-brand of the off-brand Dodge Neon.
Look, we were poor. We got Cavaliers.
We had a Tempo, so.
Oh, God.
We went from a Tempo in '99, we got a Lumina.
Oh, that was your first car.
It was it was never
It was the
my
car you borrowed.
It was the car I drove. It was never my car.
No, my car was a LeBaron, and I had to fix the holes in the roof because it was a soft top.
Nowadays, you can pop one letter off that. Now you're driving a LeBron.
Oh,
how cool would you have been?
So cool.
In a convertible LeBron.
With my convertible that I had to fix with roof tar and black duct tape.
That's okay. He's got hair plugs to fix his.
Hey,
his convertible.
Same thing.
Exactly.
So, she drove them down the Interstate 44,
buzzing along in her Neon. Wing.
So this is when Carol decided that all of them needed to die in a fiery car crash.
So she took a hard left.
She did. She literally did a hard left right into an interstate highway road sign.
A sign?
A sign. So.
Would that?
No, it does not.
Does that one do the trick?
Nope. Tammy and the girls escaped with minor injuries, but Carol broke both of her ankles.
Carol needs to learn how to drive. Lady, if you're driving with your ankles, no wonder you hit a road sign.
She did it on purpose. It gets better.
How hard did she step on that gas pedal?
It's the both feet on the gas.
You had to break both her ankles.
It topped out at 92 miles an hour.
The airbags on her brake pedals went off. Anyway,
so it gets
many
better.
questions.
It gets better. At this point, Carol, on her holy mission from the Ouija board god, got out of her car while she was also trying to push her 15-year-old granddaughter into oncoming traffic in the process.
Ouija's actually French for Messiah. I looked it up.
Did you really? No. I am so insanely gullible.
My phone's like 12 feet from me, and I'm like, I'm glad you just assume that's the truth. Is it? Does it make sense? Because it's not.
Nothing makes sense anymore, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyway, sorry, I disrupted you. Keep going.
So she tried to push her other granddaughter into traffic. Failed.
Well, she's got broken ankles.
She's on the highway.
Did she push him with her hands?
She
can't move.
Just wait.
Okay.
1 minute. After attempting to push her granddaughter into oncoming traffic, she proceeded to sprint on her broken ankles. Gets better. Fully naked at this point.
What? Carol, what the fuck happened? You're driving with your feet, butt-ass naked.
She strips down after the car crash.
All I can think of is when broken ankle lady goes running across. Okay, horror movies I have seen. Hostel. Have you seen Hostel? When he cuts.
No.
No?
Nope.
Do you want me to? No.
I'm not into gore porn. I can't do Hostel and I can't do Saw.
Okay. Can I ruin part of it for you?
Go for it.
Because you love spoiling. Anyway, there's a part where he cuts a dude's Achilles. Like, cuts right across it.
Oh, dear God.
And then he opens the door. Like, fine, leave.
Good fucking luck.
And the guy gets up and just falls over. And
yes.
his foot stays flat and his body goes forward. Anyway, so that's what I think of with broken cankle Carol, butt-ass naked.
Her way.
She's probably 80 pounds overweight because she lives in a trailer and thinks a Ouija board's
in the Midwest.
Cool for 10-year-olds. It's not. So I just assume just flubby Carol, broken cankles, pushing kids into traffic, just sprinting. Anyway, keep going.
Army crawling across.
The visuals are at an all-time high right now. Keep reading.
Yep. So she managed to army crawl her way across the highway, over the median, and then into the woods in February in Oklahoma.
Is it cold in February in Oklahoma?
Yes. Oklahoma's going to have similar weather to us. No. It's got to be below freezing.
It's got to be freezing-ish.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. It's not Florida.
Yeah, it's just everything's sparkly and shiny, and this horrifying woman with broken ankles crawling naked through the woods.
Wearing nothing but her cross.
Yes. So she was then found in the woods by police and taken to a nearby hospital.
Mental or real?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Real.
Okay.
Mental hospitals are real too, but I mean like a physical,
yes,
like
a
the
traditional hospital.
Yep. So the next day she was charged with first-degree murder of Brian.
Indecent exposure.
No, just the first-degree murder.
Oh yeah, let's start there.
Yeah. So Tammy, the daughter, was also charged with accessory to murder since she willingly helped hide the murder weapon, and also child abuse because according to the state,
yeah, she let her kids. Yeah.
Yes, she had ample time and opportunity to get herself and her children away from this crazo situation.
Agreed.
Yep.
So far, so good, Judge.
Yep. So after a psych evaluation by 2 witness experts, Carol Sue was found innocent by reason of insanity.
Okay.
Yep.
Ouija-induced insanity.
So she was sentenced to a psych ward. Where
I feel like we probably needed her pre-Ouija board background to really...
According to the pre-Ouija board background, there was absolutely nothing. There was no mental...
She just snapped.
She just snapped. There was no history of mental illness. There was no drug abuse. There was no domestic violence.
Every time you go, you're like, I'm just going to get some tarot card readings, or I'm going to go talk to this palmologist, or whatever the fuck you're going to do, like around witchy season, and be like, okay, but remember Carol and her naked ankles. You never know what's going to make you snap.
Just be careful playing with the devil.
Yes. If you try to push me into the highway on your broken ankles, butt-ass naked, we're going to fight. We're at least going to have a hearty talk about it.
Just a hearty talk.
Yes.
While we're naked, because you can't fight when you're naked.
Hold on. Can you fix your hair?
Yes.
Just flip it. Okay.
The other way?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was looking a little mullety. It was hard to take you serious. I couldn't bash Carol anymore because I was like...
This bitch
This
has snapped.
Yeah. Yes. Holster that mullet, man.
So, oh shoot, I lost my spots. Oh, anyway, she was found innocent by reason of insanity and was sentenced. That she was then sentenced to the psych ward.
Yeah.
Yep, where she will be institutionalized for the rest of her life.
Oh, okay.
So after all of that shenanigans with Carol, because Carol was found innocent, then the charges against Tammy were dropped because technically she didn't aid in any type of murder since Carol was found innocent of her. So she
still kind of endangered her kids.
Yes.
Though.
So her accessory to murder charge was dropped, and then Tammy did wind up pleading guilty to child abuse. So she wound up serving time for that.
Okay.
So there must have been something in the water in that little small town of Minco, Oklahoma, that entire year, though, because that murder was sort of the pinnacle to a crazy week. It came after a kidnapping and a sexual assault charge that had happened like the week before in a town of 1,400.
Full moon.
Yeah, probably. I should have looked that up. Or Mercury was in retrograde. You were like, everybody's going crazy. So with all the lore and ghosty stories and craziness, mass hysteria, and murder surrounding the Ouija board, how does the Ouija board work?
People move it around.
Yes, we're going to get to it. So there's a theory presented in 1852 by a physician and psychologist named William Benjamin Carpenter that is still being studied today. It is called the ideomotor effect.
Okay.
You ever heard of it?
No, but I can kind of deduce it by the name.
Yeah. I figured maybe you had heard at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I took...
Since your original major was supposed to be psych.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have to pause for the cause.
We try not to talk about Vizzies every episode.
Yes, we do.
But...
Often.
It's that acerola fruit.
I do like a good acerola fruit. I hate you. So how it works, the basic concept is that we're not aware of the ideomotor effect. Our subconscious is processing and retaining more information than we realize. So when you get someone with their hands on a planchette on a Ouija board, their subconscious can take over, moving it without us even noticing it, or using information that we have hidden away in our subconscious to answer our own questions. So when you get multiple people involved, all with our own ideomotor effects, and subconsciousness and swearing that we aren't the ones moving anything, shit can get a little bit out of hand.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Matrixing thing where you can see faces and shit that's not faces.
Yes, because we've been literally like designed to do that. And they've also noticed there's a correlation between these unprecedented, uncertain times, that there seems to be a spike in sales. So you see like a big spike in sales of like the Ouija board during like wars or like civil rights movements or like depressions and stuff like that, where people are like, I need answers. And then they just kind of, it's almost like self-soothing with the Ouija board.
Yeah, I can see that.
So on top of all of this, relatively recently, like within the last decade or so, there were 3, not all of them were doctors. So there was Dr. Ron Rensink, researcher Helene Guchow, and Dr. Sidney Fells.
It's Guchow.
Guchow. They all studied psych. And so they ran a blind study telling people that there was a person in a separate room than the participant in the studies. And there was a computer that was acting like a third person, and that computer was shut in the room with the participants with the Ouija boards, and they told the participants that the computer was going to be emulating the same movements that the person in the other room was doing.
Okay.
So the pair asked participants fact-based questions, which people had to guess the answers to. So the typical correct answers for guessing, guessing an answer is about 50%. So these participants' correct guesses jumped to an average of 65% during the study. So they ran a control. They're like 50% is the normal like average for if you just have to point on a map and you're like, that's the right answer.
Yeah.
But when they were on the Ouija board that they thought was also being controlled by another human being, their guesses, the accuracy jumped
above
to 65.
Average. Yeah.
Yes. Well above average. So then they repeated this another experiment with the same premise, but this time they had an actual person in the room with the participants, and they blindfolded the people that they had for the study, not the extra person, but the people involved in the study. They blindfolded them to use the users of the board, and they told the extra person to take their hands off of the planchette. So that they were not touching it at all. But the blindfolded participant would insist that they were not moving the planchette, that it must have been the other person, even though the person was fully hands off.
Yeah.
And again, they still wound up with the same numbers, 65% for the average of guessing. Yep.
Okay.
So in their eyes, Dr. Rensink and Dr. Fells and Kachow proved that the ideomotor effect does exist and that people subconsciously are aware of much more information than they realize. And it can be that can be represented through using the Ouija board.
Huh.
So no matter what you believe, the Ouija board has become a spooky mainstay in every culture the world over. And
I wonder if that's where like some people like instincts kind of kick in, where people like
that's their theory, very much so. They want to be able to use it to determine, because like they ran out of money in their research and stuff, but they're thinking that using something like a Ouija board might be a really good way to determine like if Alzheimer's is starting to kick in and dementia and stuff like that, because of like the reduction in being able to like subconsciously pull up information.
Yeah, those quick responses and the
And they also think that people that kind of, you get that like quick action, response if there's like all that kind of like bond, like
firing at a higher rate and all that.
Yep, that you're not aware of. Mm-hmm. So, it was actually a really interesting article.
Yeah.
So that is the Ouija board. Mm-hmm. Did that help with your? That did not help with your speculation.
Oh, I'm still massively skeptical.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's...
But see, then you got to ask, where's that subconscious information coming from? Is it coming from the world? Or is it coming from interior? Or is it coming from exterior that you can't see?
From the world.
This realm or another realm?
This realm.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you say.
It's literally named after a chick who was on the necklace of the person.
Allegedly. It's rumored.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the whole thing's goofy. Mm-hmm. And it's like the least provable.
Absolutely.
It's It's like you and your pendulum thing, right? Like I can watch you do it.
Not moving.
I can witness it. And I can still go.
They mention pendulums and this sort of stuff too, where like you get that micro movement from muscles and stuff like that, where you're like, you can try your hardest, but your body's still.
Mm-hmm. And your body naturally has natural like
movement.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you die.
Literally, you have a pulse in your hand.
Yeah.
So you're at the very smallest level, like repeatedly moving in a direction based on blood. Anyway,
it's just crazy when it circles, though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
physically, nothing should cause
it's all like that. Yeah, and we're just shamelessly plugging our YouTube video. Go watch our Eloise.
Oh my god,
video.
that was a while ago.
That's our most watched video on YouTube.
Oh, look at us go!
Right,
it's a very long one.
Well, and I feel like that's like the one.
It's worth getting to the end of.
Yeah, well, that's our one
because
video.
You cannot explain
this
that.
Time of year. That video I would expect to get a little play because it is about Eloise and hauntings and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but. Do you have sources real quick?
I do.
Before I knee the table one more time.
So I use the Smithsonian.
The what?
Oh my lord. I've had more of these than I realize.
Did you use MiltonBradley.com?
No. Nope. It's not owned by Milton Bradley. It's owned by Parker Brothers.
Oh, the other one. Mm-hmm. So it was the Burger King, not the McDonald's.
Yes. So
I would smash some French fries right now. Truth be told. Do you want to go make some French fries?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So I use the Smithsonian
and
mag.
That, folks, is what 9 years of marriage sounds like.
Yes, it does. So SmithsonianMag.com, there's an article, The Strange and Mysterious History of the Ouija Board. PsychologyToday.com article, which is Can Ouija Boards Trigger Demonic Possession? Reader's Digest, 13 spooky Ouija board stories that will give you chills. News on 6.com, woman drive to kill by Ouija board, investigators say. And then TulsaWorld.com, insanity ruled by Ouija board murder. And then there were two articles from the Oklahomian.com called The Defendant in Stabbing Ruled Insane and Ouija board played role in slaying of ex-mayor's knifing stuns Minko. Because
that guy was
Brian was a mayor, yes.
You didn't mention that the entire time? I had to wait till you were like the fourth backslash of your website?
Yes.
Okay, so now it makes a little more sense.
When he was 19, he was the mayor of their town for like
clearly
a full
possessed
term.
by the devil.
Clearly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't mention it because he wanted to increase police. And
how did his future mother-in-law never come up or whatever during his campaign? Oh, that's right. She snapped during the Ouija.
That's
right. Mm-hmm. Carol and her naked ankles were fine before that.
Yes.
Should we call this one Carol's Naked Ankles?
Sure, why not?
Okay, good. We're going to name it in about 3 minutes, so I just needed to get that out of the way.
And no one's going to understand. They'll be like, Carol's Naked Ankles, and then click on it and be like, the Ouija board.
Or we could do Ouija's French for Messiah.
Absolutely not.
We might get flagged.
We might.
Nah, it's the podcast realm. You can put whatever you want in the title.
Pretty much.
Short of like an actual swear word, you can kind of.
Yeah, even then you can just put one little asterisk in it and call it good.
Yeah, no one knows what F*** stands for.
Not at all.
Dang feck.
What the fact?
Fact check it. Anyway.
Oh, God.
So anyway, we're going to finish this habanero cheese in our Vizzies and post this, and you'll be listening to it tomorrow.
And if you've made it this far,
congrats.
Congratulations.
And this weekend, watch all the pre-2005 horror movies and play some Ouija. Mm-hmm. And tag us in your Ouija posts.
And try not to get possessed.
If you own a Ouija board.
Or have a mental breakdown.
If you own a Ouija board, let us know. On the socials.
We want to know your story. And by if that, you have I mean one.
On Facebook, because all of our Twitter followers probably follow us on Facebook. So just go
Most
to there.
likely.
Go to there. If it's working today. There's been days, where it doesn't.
Did you know that Jeff Bezos? No, it wasn't Jeff. Mark Zuckerberg lost like billions of dollars during that like 6-hour outage.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Suck my dick.
Zuck my dick, she says over there.
Yes, she does. He's funnier than I am.
He didn't lose billions in 6 hours. Otherwise, he would have.
No, honestly, I think it's multi-millions. There's a big number with lots of zeros.
He still has too much sunscreen.
Fuck that guy. He's an alien.
He's an alien?
He is. Have you seen his face? I don't know what happened to him.
They sent Bill Shatner into space. Is he an alien?
Well, he went with Jeff Bezos.
I saw Demi Lovato's trying to get alien taken out because it's a derogatory term for space people. Anyway.
Are you serious right now?
You go down that rabbit hole and tell me.
Please, no.
All right. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your October.
Yep.
Drink some PSL. Put some whiskey in your cider.
Yep.
Put on your flannel. Braless. That's how I rock it.
He takes his bra off only for October.
Yes. It's no shave November, no bra October.
Yep.
Yeah, all the layers.
Yep.
Anyway, go to bed. Not you people listening to this on your way to work. Go to work. Go get paid.
And then go to bed.
Yes. Anyway, this is derailed. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.
Oof, that was terrible.